When everything lines up right, late season mule deer hunts can be incredible. You can catch the tail end of the rut and find deer moving into their winter range. With the right string of events, you may look over hundreds of deer with the potential for some true giants. And for that reason, my buddy Josh and I are optimistic with late season muzzleloader tags in our pocket in 10 days planned to hunt. But late hunts have their drawbacks as well. The weather can be freezing, the rut can end early, and some years deer don't move into the winter range until later.
I mean, I'm good to check that out.
Check it off the list.
Yeah.
With temperatures plummeting and snow falling, we have high hopes of hitting the hunt just right.
Shell, I guess. I could work up an appetite for a hot meal.
Yeah. I was baiting the other one like a mouth thing.
You gotcha.
I've got a buck bedded over here. I'm gonna get the scope on it. Seeing some deer, mostly young deer. Little 4-point, little fork and horn. Another group up here with some does. I think that the bigger bucks would be moving around, but kind of slow today. They don't seem to be rutting too hard. It's just like a lot of little bucks, no mature deer yet. In a little bit different country. Honestly, today we're just kind of previewing the area. It's one of the things that I like to do when I first get into an area. So try to cover as much country as possible. Sometimes the best way to do that's from a vehicle, and then just looking at different glassing vantages. So I'm going to a point, I might walk out to this point, do little walks where I can check into different pockets, head back, and then cover more country. Seen quite a few deer, just no mature deer. Lots of small bucks with does, and they're all kind of at the same elevation band. So didn't really, it just gave us an idea of where to look. Saw quite a few elk as well. But overall, good day. Pretty cold. I think tomorrow's sunny. It'll be really good for glassing.
That's what it looks like from this map. It's tough to tell.
Yeah, but I mean, it just depends on the area. There's quite a few deer around, and I just saw, couldn't tell how big it was. I just saw a deer go in and bed down. Looked like it might have been a buck, maybe a small buck, but I'm just gonna sneak in because I've got a good wind right now, just in case there's other deer there, or it was a good buck. So I'm just gonna sneak in and see what happens. Buck's about 120 yards, just a one-horn barking horn. Some weird-looking deer around here. Gonna have to get close with this open sight, probably 100 yards or less. 100 yards or less is what I'd like to get. It's 120 right now. Looks pretty small through this. I got a group of does up here, kind of bedded, so I'm just gonna move into position and see what comes out. There's gotta be a buck, it's the rut, so there should be a buck nearby. I'm just gonna work my way in, crawl in, see if I can get in position, then wait on it. There's a bunch of does above me. Oh, there's a buck. That was cool. I moved in on this group of deer and a nice 3x4 came out. I had him broadside within range. Just not a buck I want to take at this point in the hunt. So I'm gonna keep on looking, but I had the crosshairs on a nice buck and decided to pass him. That's a lot of fun to do. A little wild bizarre barbecue, adding a little salt to it. Cooking on the grill, making steak sandwiches. Here's another piece. All right. Whew, steaming. trees. Just continue to keep checking these pockets with a certain kind of terrain feature, and that terrain feature happens to be, you know, a good amount of sage, aspen trees, and then some manzanita. Just seems like that's where the deer are holding up. Pretty much search high to low, and hope to spot something. I'm kind of thinking that the bigger bucks are going to be maybe off on their own or with a doe kind of recuperating. It seems like maybe they've been rutting pretty hard, full moon out, snow on the ground. So I'm really glassing tight and just like looking for antler tips in the brush. Well, we just spotted a nice looking buck. We're gonna sneak in. It looks like we can loop around the mountain, get above him, and hopefully get in close enough for a shot. There's some aspens and some other stuff, but the wind's looking good. We're just gonna move in and hopefully get close enough for a shot. The wind just shifted. He's still behind that bush. Okay, he's behind the bush there. See him behind the bush. What's he? My guess, best guess is 110. 115. They're just gonna go down here and do their thing. That wind just shifted on us. This way. It wouldn't work. You've been shooting up into brush, covering their vitals.
Yeah.
I mean, this very well could have worked pretty good if you would have just been stopped in a different spot.
Stalked in on these bucks and everything worked perfect. Buck stopped broadside 100 yards. Unfortunately, he was right on the other side of a big old bush. So it's all right. Trotted out to 170, but it's a little far for me.
As we hit nearly a week into the hunt, we really struggled to turn up those next level deer. The camping conditions were as low as 20 below zero. All of the water and food in our coolers froze solid, and the harsh temps made it even more challenging. It seemed most of the rut activity in the area was gone, and we struggled to find deer we dreamed about pre-hunt.
Well, a little bit of an update. I am now self-filming. I'm going to be filming myself, but also hunting with Josh. So I'm trying to hopefully watch Josh take a buck and then go off on my lonesome, do a little bit of solo hunting. Just getting up to this glassing knob here, so switching it up. I'm the cameraman and the hunter and the hunting buddy. We're gonna go full send. We have not seen many good deer, but it can change in an instant. So here we go. What are we gonna do this afternoon?
We're gonna go tip over a big old buck.
Yes. Please.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Today, not seeing anything just made me itchy.
Yeah, me too.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
So I'm gonna stick close. I wanna watch.
Yep. You need to.
What do you think, Blake?
Yeah.
What he said.
Yeah.
go find his other tine.
Right. Keep it back up.
Well, that might be promising for this bedded one up here.
Where's the bedded one?
At the rock pile that you're looking at, the spotter.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this morning I'm spiking out on my own. You know, it's actually been a pretty tough hunt. The deer that we were expecting to see, we just haven't turned up. We found a pocket with deer, but it just seemed like, you know, not really big bucks. And I've only got a couple days left. So the plan today, although I probably could have stayed with Josh and watched him shoot a buck, and I'd really like to, it's just that we're running out of time and I want to explore another part of the unit. The bad part is we've done this twice now and seen 0 deer. So I think that there's a spot here where the deer are going to be. So I'm making a long drive, about 2 hours, to a completely different spot in the unit. Kind of a Hail Mary pass, hoping that I can get into a pocket and find a mature buck. It's late in the game. I really hope it pans out. Well, I just spotted a buck bedded off in the distance. He's a long ways away, so I'm gonna have to get a closer look. At least I found a buck. I took a look at this buck. Not a shooter, just like a big, wide, mature deer, and I think he's like a forked horn or a 3-point. I'm seeing new bucks, and that's very promising. I just spotted a buck. Been glassing all day and just seeing does, and I just spotted a buck kind of go around the crest of this hill in front of me. I'm gonna leave my pack here. I have no shot. I gotta get the camera on him. Dang it, man. I had that buck dead to rights. I had 2 does above me, so I couldn't go above him anymore. And he was down below me in this, there's this rock cliff thing. And I was trying to get the tripod set up and get the camera on him to take a shot. I had plenty of time to just crawl up and knock him over, but I wanted to get it on film. Lost another one to the camera. Would have been an awesome buck to take. Well, dang it. I picked up that buck again. I think I'm gonna go after him. I mean, I might get there right at dark, but I think I can make it in time. I set the camera up, crawled in, I had the buck, and I probably would have shot if he would have come off the skyline. I got on him twice, he's a nice buck, so major bummer. Been hunting hard and haven't seen much, so found an area where there's good deer, or decent deer, and had a couple plays. Can't ask for anything more. Well, Murphy strikes again, man. I don't know what the heck's going on, but well, I know what's going on. I got a flat tire. Hopefully, that puts me in the position to shoot a good one. I don't know. Look at the silver. Here we go. Well, I got a nice 4-point buck bedded. He's bedded with a bunch of does up on this hill over here. We were on our way out and just had to stay one more day. I got Josh with me, and it's been a while since he shot a mule deer buck, so want him to go in there and hopefully he gets it, man. That'd be pretty awesome. It's a fairly straightforward stalk. You can come in from the backside. There's some group of trees, the deer are bedded. And even if they move out, he'll have a good opportunity because he's kind of got a ridge in between. As long as the wind stays good, I think it's going to be a good stalk. He'll be within, I don't know, 100 to 150 yards with the muzzleloader. Man, I hope it works out for him.
Hey Josh, head up to the little trees, the higher trees. Sorry, the upper trees. They left their bed and they're just moving up the top of the ridge, so head up to those upper trees.
Just peeking through that grass on the ridge there.
Yeah.
So when he was walking past that tree, I had him broadside for probably 2 or 3 minutes. And then I was peeking through the brush and it was like sparser grass in this one spot just past the tree. And
Yeah.
he took that one step out and kind of stretched out a little bit, and kerpow.
It's a big buck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, good work.
Thanks, buddy.
Some hunts end up being a lot harder than you initially think. We went into this hunt with high hopes, put in a lot of time, looked over a lot of deer, mostly does and smaller bucks. And as the hunt came to an end, we actually had to go into overtime to make it happen. It was just a cool ending to the hunt, being able to get to help Josh take a buck. And it'll be a hunting story and memories that we'll have for years to come.